It's Friday Night Frenzy, brought to you by Jerry's Outdoor Sports.
Oh boy, Womack Sports fans, Mike Kretz here alongside Derwin Worrell. Jocelyn Stafford will join us in just a few minutes. Welcome to the Week 2 edition of the Friday Night Frenzy, brought to you by Jerry's Outdoor Sports. Our thanks to them, and our thanks to you for joining us. We've got about 8 minutes of football action coming your way, and to kick us off, we turn now to Derwin. A big local matchup featuring Central and Palisade. How about it?
And both of these teams lost their opener last week, so this week, somebody was going to get their first victory, and someone was going to be 0-2. Let's head over to Stoker to pick this one out. Palisade, they were coming into this one to try to win this game and to win the War Dog Trophy. These two teams have been playing for this thing since 2006. Central won it last year, midway through the first. Central works the ball to the 35. Santana Martinez, he fumbles the football, and Palisade would recover, but they would not be able to do anything with it. This game would be 0-0 at halftime, and then in the second half, special teams reared his ugly head. Ivan Berman with the tackle. Central's now in business at the 20-yard line. Central, they're going to run a reverse here. James Montoya picks up 11 yards. Out of bounds now with next play, 1st and goal from the 9. Martinez, he's racing to the pylon, and he would get there. Touchdown Central. He fumbled earlier. He makes up for it. Gets the first game score. 7-0. Extra point is good for Central. Palisade would later come in the fourth quarter, tie this game up at 7. But if we look at the full screen in the fourth quarter, Central puts this one away. They also had a Cam Redding 80-yard pick six in this one. Central will be keeping that War Dog Trophy for another year.
All right. Hey, thanks, Derwin. Let's check in on the rest of 4A. Last night, we were treated to a potential playoff matchup between Fruita and Montrose. The Wildcats made sure their name is at the top of the list amongst 4A teams, getting a big 30-14 win over the Redhawks. Up next for the Wildcats, a trip to Longmont to take on Skyline. Montrose looking to rebound from a tough couple of weeks in Erie next weekend. But for now, let's move to 2A, where we're talking about a big matchup at Grand Valley. The Cardinals hosting the Bruins of Cedar Edge. Both teams looking to stay perfect on the young season. Let's get you out to parachute right now. And yeah, it's a Grand Valley with a grand view, a lovely place to catch a game if you get the chance to do it, especially in weather like this. The Cards hyped for their first game of the season. That said, the first drive didn't exactly go to script. Ball on the ground early, and Big Caden Unsell is there to recover for the Bruins. But it has to be said, all first half, Grand Valley doing a great job stuffing Cedar Edge's run here, getting to show off their pass defense. Andrew Horner coming up with the pick there. This drive for Grand Valley got pushed way back after a chop block and a 6-yard loss. 2nd and 32. Senior Stephen Hicks is going to pick up a bunch of those yards coming back against the grain. He wasn't shying away from contact either. 3rd and 8. This time Hicks is going to let one go, finds Colton Clark, and he's going to pick up big yards right here. All of a sudden, the Cardinals have a fresh set of downs. Same drive, second quarter. Hicks is trying to get that first score rolling right, but throws against his body and into the hands of a waiting Bruin. Luke Maxey, not going to pick up big yards, but stops that drive dead in its tracks. Speaking of stopped dead in its tracks, Cedar Edge not able to get anything going thanks to that swarming defense. Late in the half, Grand Valley going for it. Hicks, again, using the cutback, picks up nice yardage here, but gets injured on the play. I'm only going to show it once. It didn't look good. And this is the part of the game that you hate to talk about. Looked like a fracture on the senior's right leg. Want to wish him the best. You love to see him able to wave at the crowd. And there's nothing good about an ambulance ride, but he did get to hear the crowd cheer as the Cardinals punched it in for the game's first score. The 2-point conversion made it 8-0 with under a minute and a half, and Cedar Edge wasn't sitting on it, that's for sure. Here, in spite of the bobbled snap, Luke Maxey able to fire a dart for Brady Cooper on the far sideline. And here on the second to last play of the frame, he's operating out of the backfield. He's up a prayer to Logan Tullis, but it's Grand Valley's Jeremy Ruggard coming away with the interception. 8-0 Cardinals when I had to hit the road. Let's take a look at that finish. A tight finish in this one with under a minute to play. Cedar Edge scored the possible game-tying touchdown, but opted for a 2-point conversion. Conversion failed, and Grand Valley wins it 14-13. Real quick, I also wanted to apologize to Rifle fans. I was under the impression their first game of the season against Montezuma Cortez was tonight, but they had a change of schedule for a lack of officials. Something to think about when you're jeering those referees out there, that's for sure. The game instead was last night. Rifle won it 33-26. Now let's welcome back Jocelyn Stafford with an update from Coleridge.
Thanks, guys. I hit the road for Newcastle, home of the Coleridge Titans, a team that went without a single win last year, but a new season means a fresh start and endless possibilities. Will they change their fate this time around, taking on the Roaring Fork Rams tonight? Let's get to it. The Coleridge cheerleaders coming out to support their Titans home team with the first possession, but we're going to see strong defense right at the start. Cooper Thurman tries for some yards, but can't find a way through. Looking at 3rd and 16, Ryder Powell trying to find someone open. He's going to hold on to it, gets a few yards, but not enough for the 3rd down conversion. Roaring Forks number 4, Zane Garcia with the punt return, dodges one, switches up, heading to the right, fighting for it down the sideline, getting pushed out at the 29. And from there, turnover becomes the name of the game. QB Max Bollock, he's thinking big, throws up the Hail Mary. Garcia is there for the catch, but when Thurman wraps up, that ball is out and there for the taking. Coleridge jumping on this one, but Titans fans don't get too excited. Very next play, 21 doesn't get too far before Ryan Metheny slides in for the Rams 1st and 10. Bollock being extra careful this time around, throws it up, and it lands right in the hands of Brady Samuelson, moving those chains down the field. Wanting more yards, Bollock looks for someone open. He's not going to find it. Runs up the left for the QB keeper, but it doesn't go his way. 3rd fumble of the half, and this one's going to cost him. Wasting no time looking for that redemption, Powell says it's time for Ben Simons to step in. That line opens up just right, and he doesn't hesitate. Simons running it all the way down the middle for a Coleridge touchdown. And for the Titans, that change of pace is all they needed to get their heads back in the game. Now taking a look at that score, blue and black across the board, the Coleridge Titans taking the big lead over Roaring Fork 33-0 heading into the final quarter. But at last update, the Rams making a big comeback 33-16 Titans. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Want to let you guys know, 2A fans know, that Delta, the Panthers, they earned one of their easiest wins, Mike, with getting a forfeit. Eagle Valley forfeiting to Delta tonight. Next up for the Panthers, a matchup with Palisade at Stoker.
Ooh, that should be a really fun one. One last scoreboard before we go tonight. It looks like it's going to be a rough season for the Olathe Pirates. They fell to Center Vikings 55-0. All right, Derwin, week 2 is in the books. Storylines kind of starting to emerge. We'll look back and remember that win for Fruita over Montrose Central in the win column early this season. And again, I want to wish that Grand Valley, Stephen Hicks, all the best on his recovery. He's a fun player to watch. He's got a long road ahead of him. But for now, that's all the time we have for sports. For Jocelyn Stafford, for Derwin Worrell, I'm Mike Kretz. We'll see you then.